Hi, welcome to Just Living Designs YouTube channel. And today I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to do Jenny's super stretchy or surprisingly stretchy bind off for 1x1 rib. I like to use this one when I'm doing a toe-up sock that has a 1x1 rib. It also looks good on, let's say, the cuffs of sleeves or the bottom hem of a sweater. It gives you more stretch than a regular bind off would and allows it to sit nicely, and it doesn't really flare out all that much. This is a finished sock that's been blocked, so you can see how nicely that just lays and looks at the top. All right. So here I have the second sock on that pair. And so what this bind off does, it's a type of knitted or in pattern bind off. Where I'm gonna bind off in knitwise or purlwise depending on which stitch I'm coming up to. But before I do that, I'm gonna add a yarn over. And that yarn over adds that little bit of extra yarn that adds a little bit of extra stretch. With this bind off, you do not need to cut your yarn, you just keep it attached. And you will have a series of, if it's a knit stitch, you will do a backwards or reverse yarn over, and if it's a purl stitch before that one, you do a regular yarn over, and I'll kind of show you how that goes. So a backwards yarn over, you come up and over the needle towards you and then down, because we're going to knit after that. Whereas a regular yarn over, you would come under the needle and away from you. All right, so I'm going to do a backwards yarn over because my first stitch is knit, and then I'm going to knit that first stitch. And then I'm going to take that yarn over that I just made and bring it up and over that knit stitch and off the needle. And that's how we are going to bind off. Now I'm going to do a regular yarn over because my next stitch is purl. So regular yarn over and purl. And now I have two stitches on the needle. I have that knit stitch that I did plus the yarn over. So I'm going to take those two stitches up and over and off. Now I have a knit stitch, backwards yarn over, knit, those two stitches up, over and off. If it's more comfortable for you to do them one at a time, you can. You can take one off, then the other, as long as they both come off and over that stitch that you just made. So there's two stitches wrapping around it. Now it's a purl stitch, so regular yarn over, purl, and both those stitches up and over and off. And you'll continue in this manner all the way around the sock. Now I am doing this magic loop, so I'm on needle 1 right now, so I'm going to come back and show you how to transition between needle 1 and needle 2 in just a sec. All right, I'm at my last two stitches on the end of needle 1. You can see I have one stitch on my right hand side that has already been worked, and these two on the left side that haven't been yet. So first, I have a knit stitch coming up, so it's backwards yarn over and knit. Pass these two stitches over, and then regular yarn over and purl. Pass these two stitches over. And now you can see I have 0 stitches left on this and 1 remaining here. So you're going to turn your work so you are on the back side of the sock. And I'm going to load up my stitches on needle 2, and you just want to make sure you don't lose that stitch that's remaining on needle 1 there. So if you have it far enough down, you won't lose it. Load these stitches up, and you can see we already have 1 stitch remaining, just kind of how we were going across the sock previously. So I'm going to backwards yarn over, knit, pass these two over, regular yarn over, purl, pass these two over, and you're going to continue in that manner until you get to the end, and I will show you how I finish off the sock and start weaving in my ends to kind of clear up that little gap that's at the top. All right, I'm back, and you can see I have 2 stitches remaining to work, and I have 1 on my right hand needle, 2 on that left. So I'm going to have a knit stitch coming up, so backwards yarn over and knit, 2 stitches up and over, And then before the purl stitch, regular yarn over, purl, and then 2 stitches up and over. And that is the end of our bind off. And you can see we have 1 needle or 1 stitch remaining on our needle. And now you can cut your working yarn with the tail that you prefer the length for weaving in your end, 4 to 6 inches. That's what I usually do. And then I will just pull out this remaining stitch that's on the needle, pull it up and through, and then how I like to start my weaving in to kind of close up this little gap that's here, I'm going to show you kind of how to do that. And this is something you can do on all your knitting. It just doesn't have to be for this bind off. I'm going to turn my sock inside out. Okay. So I'm going to place my tail on my darning needle. And you can see kind of where this is coming out of. It has 2 stitches that it's coming up and through because we always bind off over 2 stitches go up and over a stitch. So it's coming right out of there. And then I'm going to go over here and find my first stitch that has a V going through. It looks like this is right here. That second one was really big. That first one was kind of hiding in there. And I'm going to come over and I'm going to come from the back to the front and go under both legs of that V and bring my yarn through. And then I'm going to come back to where the yarn is coming out of this, but I'm going to try to get through both of those stitches that we bound off. Up and through. Oh, split that stitch a little bit, it looks like. Up and through. And then pull tight. And it kind of mimics making a stitch right there. Can you see that? And it just pulls it tight. And now you can just weave in your end down the side of your sock like you normally would. And it makes a nice stretchy bind off. And here's the regular sock. You can see how it just closes up that hole, that gap really nicely, and it makes it just a very nice stretchy bind off. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And again, you can use this for any type of rib. Just before you do a knit stitch, you need a backwards yarn over, and before you do a purl stitch, you need a regular yarn over. I do have a tutorial for a straight up 2x2 purl, or 2x2 rib, knit 2, purl 2 rib on this channel as well, if you would like to see that one. Happy knitting!